What's up YouTube, and welcome back to Homebrew Subaru. Today's episode I'm going to take the car down off the jack stands, pull it outside, we're going to do a walk around. So what's up everyone? The car is pretty much to the point that it's ready to come down off the jack stands and back outside. The only thing left in the interior is literally just the steering wheel. Placing the blob eye interior into the bug eye is not as straightforward as I thought it would be. You would just expect a lot of this stuff to just bolt in, and there was definitely some modifications I had to do to the rear seats, the door panels, but I've got everything pretty much fitted. You know, just the bracket for the rear seats, both the backing and the bottom were in different locations, so I kind of had to drill a new hole through the bracket and put a bolt through. So a couple things getting this rear seat together I've noticed is it is a little different. The bracket's a little different, the holes are in different places. I've had to drill out this hole so that I could fasten the bracket to the body there, but over on that side and this side, they're in the same position. So the back of the seat is in place, but going to put in the seat bottom, the floor almost looks a little different, but certainly this crossbar is definitely in the way. So I'm going to take it out and see if I can get this bottom to sit flat. So I removed the bar. I had to bend these inward a little bit, and I installed a little bit longer bolt just so I could catch the threads and pull it all in, because the floor on the later model car must come out a little bit more or something. It's definitely a little different, but the seat is in there and it's fully fastened. I also went ahead and picked up a brand new battery. This is actually the second battery that I've bought in my entire life. Just being in the trade, I've always come across good used batteries that I could, you know, use in my cars, and bought used cars and ended up sending them to the scrapyard and pulling the good batteries out. But so this is the biggest Group 35 battery I could get. It's a 640 cranking, and it is ready to go into the box. And then I'm not actually going to fasten the sub or the battery box in place quite yet. I've already kind of got plans on what I'm going to do there. The air filter has enough mileage on it that it should be changed, and I mean, it's just been saturated with dust here working on the car. So I do have a brand new cone filter, the exact same size, to go in place. And a quick glimpse with some bad lighting just to see that everything is in the car and installed. I'm just going to finish up putting in the steering wheel and get it bolted up, put the shrouds on, clean up the floors and put some floor mats in, and then I'll get the car backed outside and we'll have a good look at it. Okay, so I have the car backed out and I just gave it a quick hand wash just to try and get all that dust off of it and not apply too much pressure to the new paint and whatnot. The wheel fitment is not too bad. The suspension is a little bit high. I got the new plates on it, and I've got these silicone surrounds, which I really like. They're cheap on Amazon for the pair. So there's quite a bit of wheel gap, but I was wanting some wheel gap. I think the rear is more what I was kind of looking for, more of a stock look, so it really sits at a stock level, but it cleaned up pretty decent. It actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it would out in the sunlight. And like, still needs more cleaning, the windows inside, and give a last little once over in the interior and try and get the wheels a little cleaner maybe. Let's have a look on the inside. Now I've managed to get the interior really clean. And honestly, when I look into the car, especially with the steering wheel in, it looks so much like the RS did, just like having different seats in that car. The driver's seat, well, both seats were heavily shampooed. The driver's seat, I went over it like 3 times, and it still has some discoloration, but I've started to realize a lot of it is actually just wear into the fabric. I mean, it is 20 years old, so the passenger side looks really nice. It's in really good condition. And the floor mats, I also washed the floor mats and got them relatively clean. The driver's is quite worn, but after power washing and vacuuming, they don't look too bad. Now you might be wondering what this switch is. This is basically to turn on the other ECU. The WRX ECU turns on with the key, and then down over inside the center console, I managed to put a switch to turn the amp for the sub on and off. And further up ahead in the ashtray, I've got the 2 USB ports for plugging in stuff for the head unit, and that's where I ended up relocating the actual mirror switch if I need to adjust the mirrors at all. Another issue that I ran into was these rear handles that I swapped over from the Blob-Eye. The switches in them, the connector is almost identical from 05 back to 02, but it is different. And I don't have those switches from the WRX anymore. But I was looking at the Legacy that I have in the backyard. They are the switches that I need, and I've already popped them out. So at some point I'll take these handles back out and put in the switches that I need. For the right front door, I actually maintained this piece from the old WRX door panel, and I was able to pop the switch out. I had to do a little trimming to make it fit the new bezel that goes onto this door panel, but it is in there working. So both front windows are working fine. I just got to get those rear switches to make the rears work. And you can see I've got all of the trim pieces that I needed from the other car, including the A-pillars and everything that mounted the center console in place. And just so you can get an idea of what my garage looks like after having a car in here being worked on for 7-8 months. Those are for the Forester. Like, it's a complete clusterfuck. And to be honest, there's so many things that I probably did off camera that I just can't bring to mind right now. I've had a really busy last week or so. Spent a lot of hours getting the car to this condition where it is right now. And it being plated and insured on a day like this, with the sun kind of creeping out through the clouds once in a while, I'm ready to go for a drive. We're gonna do an actual auto vlog next week. I haven't done an auto vlog forever, and I think it would give me a little extra time to make sure all the quirks are out of the car. I noticed the idle is dropping off low, and I want to know if it's something I can kind of fix before we go for a good long drive on the highway with it. So if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here and you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I'll see you in the next one.